Good evening. Welcome to June 8th Board of Trustees business meeting. We'll do the pledge. And William, if you could stay seated for this, that would be great. I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all. All right. Thank you. Tonight we are going to have a public hearing regarding the e-bike ordinance. What we did, we have Nicole Summit's in the audience. She's from BPAC. What we did is we worked on this for months now. This has been almost a year due to an issue with the e-bikes on the road, on the bike paths. We've had numerous complaints of, I will be honest with you, the type of driving, type of operating that we see. So we went through the whole bicycle ordinance, and we made the e-bike ordinance for the safety of everyone. And what we have to have is a public hearing regarding this. We had an open meeting, and unfortunately what we needed, that was at BPAC. But we have to have a public hearing at the, well, I guess you could have it separate, but we decided to have it at the board meeting. So we're going to go into the public hearing. Do we need a vote to convene to a public hearing?
I'll make a motion to that effect if it's necessary.
Nah, we're good then. Thank you though, Bill. So what we're going to do is at 7:01, we're going to start this public hearing. What we'll do is we have Nicole in the audience. We have myself that worked with Nicole on this. And I would like to thank other members of BPAC that were involved throughout the last probably 8-9 months. And Nicole and myself kind of took it over at about 3 months ago, would you say? And I just appreciate all Nicole's work. And when you quit your job, we got one for you here. So she put everything together, did a wonderful job. So if we can answer your questions, I know it's a public hearing, but if we can answer it, and if there are questions, we'll try and get that. If we don't have it with us, we'll obviously get it to you. Is there anybody in the audience that would like to talk about this e-bike ordinance or has any questions, any concerns? Let me know. Just give your name for the public hearing. Brian's the same as the regular board. If you just give your name, young man, and
Yes.
we'll go from there.
I'm Bill Stevenson, 26049 Park Lane. I'm also the chairperson of the Greenways Open Space Committee. So, again, thank you for having this hearing and going forward. First off, I want to commend the board and the Bicycle Pedestrian Committee for their good work on working on this over the course of 8 months or so. So they really have done a great job in terms of trying to wrestle with an issue that obviously that needs to be dealt with. I also want to thank the board and Supervisor Porcerelli for helping us with at least considering the recommendations of the Greenways Open Space Committee to our recommendations to ban e-bikes, scooters, mopeds, things of those nature on our nature trails in the 600 acres that we steward throughout Groseal. So that's a consideration that we appreciate very much. My committee last Tuesday met here, and we approved the ban by a 5-1 vote. And would have been a 6-1. One of our members was absent that evening, but we had that. So the vast majority of our committee does not want e-bikes or any type of motorized vehicles, electric or otherwise, on our nature trails.
And Bill, if I could just, I don't mean to interrupt you, but just so you know, under the state law that, so people understand this, that under disabled acts and other things that we go by, you can have a motorized.
Yes.
Small motorized, like those hover arounds.
Yes.
You can have a wheelchair.
So I can clarify that.
Yeah. I just want them to know who's listening.
Our committee has, first off, since they've been doing bikes or trails on Groseal, The regulations that you see posted on all of our trails go back to like 2015, and it certainly addresses that issue that you spoke to
I just
about
wanna make
ADA
sure.
compliant. So it says very clearly motorized, no motorized. And again, the definition of e-bikes is now, has changed over the course of several years, and at least changing in 2024. The big concern for us, but let me just, I'll make my statement, then I can take your questions if you would. The big concern for us is safety, just as you're concerned about safety of all of our residents on the bike paths or on the thoroughfares and roads. Same too in our very sensitive ecosystems that we have trails on, okay? So our trails are, for the most part, natural trails. There are no wood chips on them whatsoever. There's no necessary like gravel base. So it's Groseal as perhaps in some ways as it was 250 years ago. So that's a very big concern. The trails themselves, and if you've been on the trails, you'll know that they have very irregular in terms of the terrain you go through, very varied. Also, you should understand that there's a lot of ruts that are naturally there. There are deer paths that are there. There are a lot of tree roots that are live tree roots that are there. And so it's a very concern. There's rocky areas, and then there are blind curves. My wife reminded me before I left the house this evening that, oh yeah, you remember about a couple months ago, we were almost run over by a regular bike on the bike path as we were walking through the Meridian Trail. So I said, yeah, I think they just came up out of nowhere and, did not have the respect to say passing left or, hey, a bike coming up on you. And so that's a big concern. That's a concern not only on our trails, but throughout the bike paths that we do have. So the other thing, when we're building trails here, we got to realize we just don't say, oh, that looks good, we're going to build a trail. We generally, we look at our experts. We have environmental engineers on our committee, okay? We have project engineers who do a major construction. We also have elicited the aid of Dr. David Dimitri from the Zoological Society of Detroit, who's an expert on hydrology and an expert in terms of amphibians and the natural wildlife that are there. So we're very concerned about that too, particularly with the possibility of e-bikes. If you don't have to go very far, you just go down the road to Gibraltar. That's federal property, the Detroit River International Wildlife Refuge, okay, the former Humbug Marsh area. Federal properties do not allow on natural trails any kind of e-bikes whatsoever. So throughout, and that's pretty consistent throughout the United States. So on a federal level, that's an important concept. On a state level, the state of Michigan allows, on natural areas such as our trails, they're forbidden, okay? With the exception, then they've been doing this since about 2024, the paths that are specifically designed by the state and the resources behind it for e-bikes and those types of bikes per se. So that's on a state level. Locally, if you go to the metro parks, it's the same way. They've got great bike paths. You've probably been on them in Willow or up in Kensington. There's fabulous parks here, but they also are, the bikes cannot go on the natural areas, okay? So when you look at a federal, state, and local government in terms of, the capability of having e-bikes on the natural trails, they're forbidden, okay? And so our committee was consistent in terms of both federal, state, and local purviews in order to make that happen. Cities like, Traverse City, Grand Rapids, Novi, Northville have banned those e-bikes on their nature trails and in their nature areas. And not surprisingly, perhaps, South Lyon has banned e-bikes in the downtown area of South Lyon because of the concerns and problems they have there with reckless drivers or reckless. We don't want to see, and I can tell you, having spent about 30 years in the woods of Groseal for sure, I can tell you it's on more than one hand I have seen people wipe out on regular bikes in on our trails, okay? So let alone an e-bike. And the concern is, whether it's a class 1 or 2, it's a question of, okay, 20 miles an hour on those trails is actually pretty dangerous, okay? And, you know, those of you that are like with law enforcement and that are very much aware of, you know, you have to look at the, you know, safe speed. So we're concerned about the safety and the speed when we see people riding in our natural areas. So we are very much against first off, we very much support an ordinance to control bikes throughout the state and throughout our township. But also, our committee is very clear when we said that we wanted no e-bikes, scooters, and things of that nature in our natural areas, on our trails, or in other sensitive areas.
Thank you, Bill.
So, thank you. Thank you.
Okay.
Did Bill have a question?
Yeah,
also?
sure.
I think I've got the answer to my question from your few remarks after I raised my hand before, but I want to be sure of this. I got hung up slightly on understanding in the conversation what constituted a motorized vehicle, which was in your early remarks. But if I've got this straight, my mind had been that our attorneys would know what they were doing on this when they put that thing together, but we have in this document that we have at the moment, it was 20-mile-an-hour limits, they're motorized. You're saying we'd like to get those motors out of there.
In the ordinance that you have, let me just say this, it
Yes.
is very clear in the ordinance that the township prohibits e-bikes, motor scooters, other electric types of vehicles in nature trails.
On natural
Period.
trails.
On natural
Yeah.
pathways.
So,
So the motorized one, I think the original, going back to, you know, probably the 1970s when they had any kind of trails and where the ordinance is, it's a question of, they're thinking about gas powered, okay, as opposed to electric powered.
okay.
And again, under the ADA, there are certain vehicles that are allowed under the American with Disabilities Act.
So that's where we separated, but also we added, there's a 15-mile-an-hour speed limit on the bike paths only.
Yeah, right.
Just because the vehicle does 20 now, we
Doesn't mean
knocked it
that
to
you
15.
do that, right.
So
Yeah,
anyway,
Class
all
1 and
right.
Class 2 will do 20, and Class 3 will do
29, well, they'll do actually up to
28
45.
or more, yeah.
28 or more,
28 or
right.
more, so.
Okay.
All right,
Okay.
thank you, William.
Okay, thank you.
Thank you very much. Anybody else have any comments? Concerns, like to speak? Everybody good? That's it?
Can I ask one more?
Oh.
Yeah, one more?
What's what?
Bill,
Oh, I'm sorry, yeah.
may I ask one more question, please? Sorry.
That's all right.
Um,
Bill likes to answer questions.
When I was watching the meeting, your meeting, so can somebody, you know, if a person wants to get from A to B and the fastest way is through the woods, can they walk their bike?
Yes, I would say yes, they
They
could
can
walk
walk
their
there.
bike, okay? The issue becomes, and again, like any, you're gonna have an issue of enforcement, whether it's on a bike path or it's on a trail, whatever, it's like, that's gonna be an issue. And so, are the police gonna be there and they're going to be watching, like, oh, did you walk your bike? Or is this, did you have the pedal assist, you know, you have the class 1, you didn't pedal it? I mean, so there's a lot of, and I don't think you wanna, you know, if you're mincing it that far, I think there's an issue. But yeah, sure. As a matter of fact,
I would actually say we need to look at what the statute
Yeah, there's-
says to interpret it, but that's the attorney in me,
Right,
right?
yeah, okay.
So I know you want to be helpful, but we would actually look at the language and make a determination. And I know that Bob Carson was asking, he wants his wife to be able to ride one, and he kept coming up with exceptions.
Right.
But we would always look to the language, and sometimes we would go to legal
Right.
counsel for the township
absolutely.
and make a determination,
Sure.
so.
I would say, and this is just coming from the police chief side, and having to interpret laws all the time, that, and I don't want to burst any bubbles here, but if somebody was walking an e-bike through a path, I would say if it says no e-bikes on the path, it's no e-bikes
No
on the
e-bikes,
path, period,
right.
yeah. I would just say that. But I don't know how the police want to enforce that, but it's far and few between. I hope we have that.
I understand.
That'll be it.
Right.
Thank you. for
Good,
coming.
okay, thank you.
Joe,
Yes, sir.
I'd just like to put a little marker in the sand here on this issue. we have a law, and it has to be enforceable, and it has to be consistent, and we're learning how to do that by implication right now with what remarks I've been hearing. But I would suggest that it might be wise to consider talking with some of these other communities and explain to us what issues they learned,
That's what we did.
or you've done
Yeah,
that.
we've done that already.
Okay, thank you.
Nicole and I both have done that. So that's where we came up with a lot of these, Bill,
Thank you.
is kind of cannibalizing from them too and
Well, you learn
stealing
from
their.
others' experience.
Yeah, okay. Is there anything, I have something from Jameson that he wanted me to bring up since he's not here to the board. Would the board like to start? How would you like to do this? Anything?
Start with Jameson, and then the rest of us can say our piece.
Oh,
How about
okay.
that? How about that?
What Jameson asked me is, at first, what we had in the ordinance is that the Groseal Township could sign these natural paths and say they are enjoining whatever they want, not on the paths. And we thought about that, but I want to respect your commission, your committee, and your wants for that, and I do respect that. I'm not going against what Jameson's saying, I'm just saying, when we talked, he would like rather to see, I guess it would be some paths you can go on and some paths that you can't. Now, I don't know, like the Ferry Road, if the kids use that to get from the north end to the Meridian School, and they use that to get to the bike path, that Ferry Road Trail now that comes through, hits Ferry right there by Lowry. So my question is to Jameson, I just asked him, I said, well, if we do that, then we're gonna have to go to every single path to say what's enjoined. And what I mean by that is obviously what's not allowed. So, my personal opinion is I respect your group wanting no e-bikes. There's another thing, Bill, and I'm not saying this is important, it is, but anything with a drive wheel can cause ruts. Bicycles don't usually, although they can when it's soft, but e-bikes can cause ruts, and with people walking in ruts, don't go together. And there could be, you could we could have a problem that we just don't foresee if we allow something with a drive wheel on a path that can cause those ruts. And we're not gonna keep going out there and fixing it, and, then people, they may not use it if it's not usable. So, I do respect your group, and, I may oppose what, Jameson was saying on this, but he wanted me to bring that out to the board, see what you guys thought of that. I just did not want to put signs on every single path and say that this path you are enjoined from. And, so anyway, why don't we start, whoever, would like to talk?
I can start if you want to just.
Go ahead.
Yeah, we'll
that's
left to
fine.
right. How about that? Left to right.
So I watched the Greenways and Open Space meeting, and I'm in complete alignment with what was discussed with respect to the e-bikes not being on the trail for multiple reasons. I mean, first off, I do believe that we have actually state laws that also say that, you should not have e-bikes on natural trails, if you will, unpaved. But beyond that, first off, I know that the police chief walked through this with respect to enforcement. This particular ordinance we're gonna vote on. But the other thing that I think is really very, very important, and I know it's more of a personal side, but there's only a couple of people that maintain your trails, right? And I think we have to respect the fact, both from a personal point of view and from a fiscal point of view. Your funding is very limited. The amount of people you have to support the trails is very limited. And unfortunately, these bikes do tremendous damage to your trailways. So for those reasons, and as well as I will look at it from to me, those are a priority, but the top priority can be also considered as safety, right? If anything were to happen to somebody, well, even walking, but the odds of that are a little bit lower than the odds of somebody on a bike having an issue. And it's probably a little difficult, if not very difficult, for us to get rescue teams, police, fire into there just to locate them. So I think that's an important point to address as well, but again, just to not belabor it, I just think that the volunteers, and again, I'll emphasize volunteers, are very limited, as is the funding, and we need to consider that. So that's my point.
All right, thank you, Margaret. Mark, do you want to go next?
Yeah, I will. So I'm looking at 34.9, trail and park restrictions. And I think it's pretty clear right here, the way it's written, as the chief and the deputy chief have gone through this. The township prohibits the use of electric bicycles, electric skateboards, scooters, or mopeds on unpaved trails, nature areas, or environmental sensitive locations. So in that alone, that right there shows that they should not be on like the wood chip trails and things of that nature.
Right.
So I think this as written, as I read through it earlier today, and I read for the last week, and I read it again today to make sure I was on point with it. I think what is written right here has been gone through by our police officer or police chief and our attorney. I think it's set, and I think it addresses the issues that are being brought up. And I agree with what you're saying. We don't want these bikes going through and causing these ruts and causing people to trip and fall, wherever the case may be. And to Margaret's point, having to go out, our rescue teams go out there and try to pull people out. So this here addresses it. I think it as written is good as it is.
It was changed. That part was changed.
Okay, all right, I'm just making sure, because I'm looking through this, and I don't think it should be,
Yeah, no, you're correct, Mark.
Changed.
That's what it was changed to.
okay.
Correct.
So I think we're good with it as written,
Okay.
and we should move forward with it as written. I'm good with it just how it says.
And what I did was, just so you guys know, Nicole and I did make the changes, and then this is the time we're gonna talk about, do you know what I mean? So the changes were put, we had to come here with something, and then we would talk about if you wanted to go back to the other way or a different way, so that's correct.
I think we should
You're
move
correct.
forward with this, and then if we need to make changes as we go along, then we go along with it.
And if we see a problem, I agree with you.
However, the one thing, the caveat I want to throw in there is, there are disabled people on the island who may not be able to enjoy these trails unless they're on their electric scooters. I know I'm not gonna call out names, there's a couple people that go up and down Macomb all the time, and other parts of
Those
the
are
island.
allowed. Those are allowed.
All right, so, okay, so you know who I'm talking about, right? Again, I don't want to call out names, but in order for them to have access to these trails, they have to be able to go on them.
Correct, and they're allowed, motorized little scooters, hover rounds, wheelchairs.
Okay.
Anything ADA approved, correct.
Okay.
You are correct.
I'm all set, thank you.
Okay. Kevin, you got something?
Just, again, to be clear, so if somebody wants to walk a bicycle through the woods from A to B, because it's shorter, what is the stance on that?
I would have to, I'm not the police chief anymore, but I would have to ask Todd how they would enforce it, or our attorney what she believes, but I would just say if it says no e-bikes on a certain type of trail, then there's no e-bike, period, because you have the ability to drive it once you're in it. Once you're in it, you have the ability to drive it. So the point is, that's just my opinion. My opinion means nothing, because I'm not the one enforcing it or writing the ticket.
So,
So-
Mr. Supervisor, may I
Yeah.
interject on that?
Yeah.
I don't see a problem with walking it through. If infractions are observed, they're riding the bike through it, and people see it, it should be reported, and they should be dealt with accordingly. I don't think everybody should be penalized if they want to go from point A to point B on a shorter path.
No, that's true. I'm
So
saying
if
I
I
don't know
want to
the
walk,
chief.
I don't have an e-bike, but suppose I did, and if I wanted to go ahead and walk my bike through, and someone sees me on it, then I should be treated appropriately, right? Or
Well,
cited, or
that's-
whatever the case may be.
No, that's your, I get it. I get your, I respect your opinion.
So I
I'm
don't think we
saying-
should restrict people from walking bikes through, but they should not be riding them through.
Well,
But I think it's like a statutory interpretation, so normally on something like that, the committee would, put together a proposal and like go to Kristen and talk to, chief, the police chief and get input and then come back and tell you guys what we found out. I'm sure we're gonna have a lot of questions, not only on the trails, but on the bike paths. And so generally, we would, do our homework and come back with an answer or a
I just think
proposal.
that's a what if that the police chief is gonna have to say how his officers are going to enforce this, because I do know if there's an issue and you say, there's no mini bikes are allowed on airport property and I see you walking the mini bike out the driveway here, it's kind of hard for me to believe, and no offense, but I know how kids are, that they walked it the whole way through. But the point is, it's not for us to say, we don't allow them on the bike paths. We're gonna have to get how the police chief at the time will be enforcing this. And I'll meet with them tomorrow. I gotta meet with them in the morning anyway, but I'll run that by them.
Well, then perhaps we should table this for that moment. Only reason
I
why I
don't
say
think
that.
that's that big a deal to table, Mark. I really don't. That's a minuscule issue. If I find somebody's walking in a bike path, on a dirt path, I don't think they should be in there anyway. So my point is, I don't think they should be in there, period. If I was a police chief, I wouldn't allow them on there. I wouldn't allow them in there with it. I'm just telling you, that's my interpretation. So I don't see it holding up this vote in case somebody's walking a e-bike through I just don't see it.
All due
that's
respect, I have the same background you do.
You may. You're right.
I do. And I'm just telling you, I don't think people should be, there shouldn't be a blanket ordinance put out there where people, if they're not gonna violate, if they're gonna walk through there with their bike, they have every right to walk through with it.
Maybe
I agree they
do
shouldn't be
already.
riding through with it. I agree they shouldn't be turning up the trails. 100% I agree with that.
Okay.
But there are certain folks who can walk through and actually abide by the laws. If people are found to be violating the law, the code, the ordinance, wherever we want to word it, then they should be cited for it. And if it is a juvenile, then their parents are cited for it. It says it right in here.
Okay, well, I'm just saying, I'm not gonna I'm not in favor of holding up the vote of this whole thing from 12 months of work to figure out, can a kid walk a bike through it's not that important to me.
Mr. Supervisor, if I may. So the language reads, the township prohibits the use of electric bicycles. I guess to your point, it would probably be based upon whether the chief or the department views that as a use. What is defined by use? Is it the actual operation of it, or it being in the woods? That's kind of where the discretion would lie. Is that kind of what you're saying?
Yeah.
But it gives them that discretion, right, to do that.
I know how I would enforce it if I was still the police
Right.
chief, but I'm not.
Right.
So,
There's also
I'm just saying it's,
concern with the batteries catching on fire. There's some other things too, but, you.
hold on, no,
Did
Kevin's
Kevin
not
have
done.
more?
No, Kevin's not done.
Just one other, Mr. Stevenson said that there was a concern about actually riding pedal bikes through too. Do we have that, is that covered?
No, this was only to address e-bikes to apply for what the ordinance covered.
Okay,
Correct, yeah, that's correct.
okay, thank you.
Okay, you go.
Okay. So I'm known to hug trees and rescue baby deer and things like that. So to avoid being emotional, and because I'm not good like Bill to say off the top of my head, I have notes. So bear with me and don't get bored. Basically they were designed to be walking paths, not bike paths. And so I know when I'm walking, sometimes I trip because you do get those big tree roots, right? So, before all this came up, one time, my husband and I got e-bikes and we weren't even thinking, and we took them on those trails. And my husband is a fool, and he would have killed somebody if they were on that trail. And he even told me when he used to ride bikes when he was in college. And I said, you know, just asking him like about the safety issues. And I said, what would you do if you got hurt? And he goes, oh, me and my buddies, we would go on the trails and we would just race. And like, you could break an arm. Well, if you broke your arm on the trail, you just had to get yourself out of there. And I'm like, okay, now I feel better that there are safety issues. But anyways, though, so the e-bikes, there's class 1, 2, and 3. And we're only talking about class 1 and 2. Class 3 are legally prohibited, so we don't even have to address those. I have a class 2 bike, which means I have a throttle. But if I just pedal my bike and don't hit my throttle, it takes off. And so the class 1 bikes don't have a throttle, but they're the same thing. If you pedal, they'll take off. They have torque to them and they have speed. And that's going to throw up some dirt, right? And so it's definitely going to tear up the trails. And if they're wet or damp, it's really going to tear them up. So despite us having 2 e-bikes, I'm not even asking to ride my e-bike. And I voted that we don't even allow them, knowing how they operate and the damage that they can do, especially with my husband. So if we want to ride our e-bikes, the good news is we have all the bike paths here. And when everything gets said and done, that bike path that's being built is going to connect to the major one in Michigan. and you will be able to ride them and charge them and ride them 2,000 miles up to the UP. So there will be plenty of opportunities. Another thing is fiscal responsibility. These open space was bought with millage money, and those trails are maintained with millage money. So a lot of the millage money now goes, because we're not buying more property right now, or at least not much. So most of the money goes to cut down big trees if they happen to fall across the pass, and that can be very expensive to cut those trees up and move them. If it's smaller trees or brush, Bill Stevenson and Ray Geist are our two volunteers that will get their chainsaws out and walk around. He walks on the trails with the chainsaw to cut those trees and move them to save us money. So we have very little funds left from the millage. So if a big tree falls, that eats up a lot of that millage. So the last thing I want to do is pay to now have somebody go and like grate those paths because these e-bikes have torn them up. I mean, that would burn through our remaining funds really quickly, and it's just not responsible use of the money. In terms of safety, I told you about how crazy my husband is, and he's pretty much the norm if you get a guy on an e-bike, right? They're going to just see how fast they can go, how fast they can take the curves, and they get out there, and you know what guys are like, right? Safety goes right out the window, no offense, but you know what you guys are like. It's true. I've seen all the comments on social media about, hey, I was walking along and somebody almost hit me with an e-bike. And I've seen so many of those, and that's why they took it upon themselves to write the ordinance to begin with, for the safety concerns. Now, e-bike injuries and hospitalizations are surging in the U.S., and it's usually, a lot of the cases are head trauma. So I want you to imagine somebody going 20 miles an hour through those trails, hitting tree roots, and then when they go flying off that bike, they're either going to hit a person or they're going to hit a tree or both. And somebody's going to get hurt bad. And then if they're laying there, how long is it going to take the police to find them? And then, because they certainly can't take their cars out there to patrol those paths. And then when they finally find them and they call for an ambulance, the ambulances can't drive out there. So now you got a delay because they have to take some kind of small, I don't know, like a four-wheeler to hook up a stretcher to try and get the person. So then, the delay in rescuing somebody, any delay in medical care can really impact whether they come out of it alive or not. So there's that. The other thing is, like we said, those batteries, it doesn't happen that often, but if it does happen, they can catch on fire. And when I talked to the chief, he even told me, I said, I store my bikes in my garage. He said, take them out right now because they can catch on fire. And can you imagine one of those bikes catching on fire in the middle of open space because the fire trucks can't get out there, right? So we would sit here and watch open space burn up. The last thing is I personally I give a lot of kudos to our committees. Grosse Seal has so many intelligent and experienced people. I mean, we have CFOs, we have doctors, we have just people with the amount of experience. And so I really think highly of their opinions. And from what I understand is BPAC said, you know what, open space, you guys take a look at it, put your collective thoughts together, and we will defer to you. And that's what open space did. And they came up with, because of all these reasons, we do not want e-bikes on the open space trails. And so I hope that the board will consider that and vote accordingly on this ordinance. So, thank you.
You good? Thank you. William, do you have anything?
Yes, I have a couple of thoughts. Basically, my thoughts are in accord with what both of you have said, but I can also understand how Mark's observations were made. I was, in fact, saying, you could have a point where you basically agreed on it, but you could look at it from two different angles and on certain segments have different opinions, and I think we see that going on right now. One of the things I learned in school when I was in college, I had political science, government classes, law courses, is when you put a good piece of legislation together, it has to be enforceable. And I think she's made a solid case for the fact that it isn't enforceable. I think that if you look at the nature of the way human beings act, They don't, even though they know the rules, they don't adhere to them. You can look at adults, and how many of them really stop for stop signs or red lights? They push the yellow light at an intersection and keep on going. If the kids are watching their parents do that, why should they walk their tricycle or whatever it is across the airport? They ride it. I can't imagine that not happening and being unenforceable because we don't have the staff and the budget or whatever it is to watch out for a runaway 8-year-old on an e-bike or whatever. It might sound funny, but if that kid was hurt, there'd be an awful lot of heartache. I would like to see this passed tonight, but I think if we were to do it, it's now leaning toward motorized stuff that would have to be amended back out and back to the statutes we had before we passed it. But that would be the recommendation I would make because I'm in accord with these thoughts.
You good? Thank you, sir. Okay, what we're gonna do is, because what I wanted to do is let you talk now, but when we get to the e-bike action items, I think that we've done our talking now and we'll just make the vote then. But I wanted to make sure when everybody was here, if maybe it spawned a question from the audience that wanted to come up from what they heard from us. So I let that go this way as opposed to the other way, so. Anybody from the audience that didn't come up or that wanted to come up that maybe heard something or had a question? Nicole, is there anything you'd like to say? Did you want to come up? You don't have to, but, no? Okay, good talk. Okay. Oh, come on up. Yeah, come on up.
I'm Debbie Confletti, 8230 St. James. You said you talked to other communities. How do they enforce their ordinances?
Well, they enforce them through, they're a misdemeanor or a civil infraction, even a municipal civil infraction in the beginning for some that we have, if you're talking about any of our ordinances. So we have steps in ours. But they enforce them just like the police department would enforce any other ordinance, especially when it comes to speed.
So
how
are the
you,
police going to be monitoring the
Oh, yeah.
speeds? And they go,
oh yeah, the police will, yeah, they'll monitor and the only way I can say this is how they're being driven too. Because there still is careless driving, there still is a reckless driving, or there still is, hold on, let's back up. Because they're not motor vehicles and they're bicycles, they're still under the bicycles. So if they're driving in an improper manner, or if they're still catch-alls, if you will, that they can be written tickets for.
Okay.
Yeah.
Great, thanks.
Yeah. All right. Anybody else? Then at 7:37, I'm going to close the public hearing. We'll move into our regular meeting. Brian, I don't need a vote, right? We can just close it and move on?
Yep.
Okay, so at 7:38, we'll start the regular meeting. Okay, I have additions and deletions to the agenda. Need a motion to add action item number 8, which is the approval of agreement of CDBG between Charter of Wayne County and Groseal Township. And you know what, I think that is from the rec, isn't it?
Yep.
Okay, Jameson's not here, but we'll get somebody to read that, that's no problem. So, can I get a motion to add number 8?
Support?
And a second?
Second.
Okay, if there's no questions, all in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Then, number 8 will be CBDG.
Can we define what CDBG stands for?
Sure, stands for, Derek?
Community Development Block Grant.
Say it again.
Community Development Block Grant.
Community Development Block.
Because there are
Grant.
people out there that wouldn't
I get ya.
necessarily know that.
And
Thank
you know, we hear it so many times, and then I still
We
couldn't
do.
come up with it. Yeah, I couldn't.
Thank you.
It's in the document.
Yeah, I still couldn't come up with it. Okay, so that's the, hold on, let me write that for number 8. Grant. Okay, we got that for action item number 8. All right. So I need well, how about this? Anybody else have anything for additions or deletions for this section? Nothing? Okay, with that, I'll need a motion to approve the agenda as amended this time.
So
All right, all in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Opposed? Okay. Very good, thank you. Presentations. Tonight, we have Donna Jensen from, she's a library director of Trenton Veterans Memorial Library, and she has a presentation on the library. Hello, Donna, how are you?
Hi, I'm so glad to be back again. Donna Jensen, 21057 West River Road, and also your personal librarian. So just want to be here to remind everyone that Grosse Isles Public Library is in Trenton, and starting on June 1st was the first day of summer reading. And summer reading is an excellent opportunity for all of our children to continue to hone their skills over the summer so that in the fall there's not that gap where they have to relearn everything that they learned at the end of the year. So as reading is always important, summer reading is especially important for our young ones. Teresa, I did actually have this. Is that okay to show? You can it's just this one here. That's like, sorry. So summer reading is a time when children will get prizes for tracking their reading hours. And we also have weekly programs to help get them excited about coming into the library and choosing their books. These are some of the programs that we have coming up. So the first week, last week we had a passive program, which is going to be continuing. That's just an adventure around the library where kids learn about different types of dinosaurs. And you'll notice I'm wearing my dinosaur earrings. Just trying to get the kids learning about different things with dinosaurs. The theme of this year's summer reading is to unearth a story. So we're excited about that. So you can see some of the things here. We're going to be doing the passive program that I just talked about. The next one is dinosaur diamond art. The kids really enjoy doing crafting, and they'll also have an opportunity to see books and other items in the library that can help them with crafting, as well as doing the diamond art. We have a juggler coming in, so that's going to be a lot of fun. We have, for our younger patrons, the real little ones, we have a special story time that is centered on dinosaurs. We've got myth crackers, common animal myths, and that one is that one's really nice because it's from the wildlife refuge. And then dinosaur bubble dig, which is looking like a lot of fun, and you're going to get a dino egg. We have a STEM, which is led by our children's librarian, a STEM program, which is cookie excavation, my personal favorite of the summer. And then we have a end of summer reading party that all the children can come to. And you don't have to, you can bring grandchildren, you can bring friends. It doesn't have to be someone who lives in Grosse Isles full-time. So everyone is welcome. It's a public library for absolutely anyone in the world. Just a reminder that this is also for adults. Adults also have special programs going on. The first program we have is Nature on Your Doorstep, and that is actually about Grosse Isles. So that's about Grosse Isles Nature and Land Conservancy, and Mr. Glore, or Dr. Glore, is going to be speaking to us there. So that's straight from the heart of Grosse Isles. Then the DAR is coming to do a free genealogy workshop. And then we have a fiction writing workshop for adults. And then we have a crafting program. And then also the adults are also having an after hours party too. So those are some of the things that are going on in your library this summer over June and July. And also we have our regular programming too, things like Writer's Workshop, which is a monthly program. We have 3 different adult book clubs. We have a book club for K through 2nd graders. And we also have a book club for 3rd through 5th graders. Excellent opportunity during the summer to keep up those academic skills. And we just would love to see you all. Come on down and get your library card renewed, and you can do your online books with downloadables, and it's all free. It's your tax dollars at work, and we're here to help you. Does anyone have any questions about the library services that I can answer?
So can I just, so I think it's is it Kensley that you work with?
Kensley is one of our
Right.
library associates,
So
yes.
Kensley sends me every month the calendar for the Trenton Library, and we make sure we put that into our newsletter.
Nice.
So if you guys have a PDF of what you just showed.
I do. I can
we'd
get
be
that.
happy, right, Brian? We'd be happy to put that in the newsletter.
So an exciting thing that we
Yes,
did last
Brian.
year and this year is we did a video, and it was sent to all the schools, and this PDF was sent to the schools also, but I'd love to get it out to as many more people as possible.
I think we have like a lot of seniors who like to
Yeah.
read the newsletter. So
Yeah.
to your point, grandkids and you know anything like that, I think it's really great to kind of look to something like the newsletter as a place where, okay, what can the kids do, kind of thing.
Right,
So
and also just for the adults themselves.
that now that you pointed out, there's an adult reading thing as
Correct.
well. Yeah.
Yeah, and actually, thank you for saying that. That reminds me that we had a grant that we got for $10,000 from Molina Healthcare. And the main crux of the grant is that we're going to be starting a senior advisory board at the library. It's a volunteer group that's going to be helping us with reaching out to seniors and increasing our home delivery. Want to make sure everyone on Grosse Ile knows that we will deliver books to your home. I don't need a medical excuse. It can be a new baby. It can be whatever you need. It could be that you don't have a car, whatever it is, that we have been
nice.
granted quite a bit of wonderful grants for this, so please be aware of that. And the Senior Advisory Board is also going to be helping us with some programming because Molina Healthcare has done a lot of research that has shown that senior isolation is a very dangerous thing. And we want to take care of our Grosse Ile seniors. And the library is a great place to do that and a great resource. So if you're interested in any of those things, please give us a call. Come on in. I love talking to people. And I love sharing my passion for the library and all that we can do for everybody.
So then you would drop them off at their house and then they could just drop them off at the police department to send
That's an
back?
option, but we also do pick up the books too.
You do pick them
Yeah,
up?
we do. We have a volunteer group that is amazing, and they are very dedicated to this because they also feel very passionate about
That's
what we
really
can do
nice.
for our seniors. Yeah, so.
And
Yep.
then you have those book sales. Do you do that once a year or?
We do it twice a year. We actually just had one. It was a huge success. I think it's the biggest one I've seen in the almost 20 years I've been there.
Yeah, I know.
So-
I bought more than I can ever read.
Welcome to my world. Every time I bring books home, my husband is like, "What are you doing?"
Same with mine.
Yeah, absolutely. So usually we have one in the fall, and then we have the one in the spring that we just had.
Yep.
But we also have an ongoing used book sale that runs every day. So there's always new books coming
On
in.
the
People
bookshop
are
would-
so generous with the donations. So
Yeah.
you just have to come on in, y'all. We've got lots to show you and lots to help you with.
Thank you, Donna.
You're so welcome. Any other questions for me? Yes, sir.
Would you repeat again how much all this costs?
Oh, yes, that's very important because it is free.
Free.
As I said, your tax dollars at work, and we are passionate about getting things done for you. We also have printing available, public computers. It's not just books at the library anymore,
And
so.
would you tell us your hours?
Yes, we have excellent hours. We are open 6 days a week, Monday through Thursday, 9 a.m. to 8 p.m., and then Friday and Saturdays, 9 a.m. to 5 p.m. And also 24/7, we're available to have downloadable books, which are also free. You don't have to pay for Audible and your Kindle books anymore. You can get them free with your library card.
And is there an age requirement that parents have to accompany?
Yes, so
Students.
minors are allowed in the library at 10 years old by themselves. Under 10 years old, they must have help by someone who is 18-year-old and assigned as their caregiver. And they do have their own library cards. And the library cards for minors are, there's a process where their parents have to fill out a form and so that they know what's going on.
So if they're over 10, I could drop them off at like 8 o'clock.
You know what? I love kids, so I'm going to say yes to that. Yeah, we're not babysitters, but we have a lot for going on for them too. So yeah, absolutely.
Kids who love to read. We used to walk to the library all the time, and
Yeah.
if you really like going to the library,
Yeah, I mean,
you
that
don't need a
was-
babysitter there.
I was a
The
library
books are
kid
it.
growing up. That's who I was, and we see a lot of them every day. We have over 500 people a day in there. A lot of people are surprised by that because they think, oh, the library, who does that, right? But yeah, over 500 people a day, and it's a really, really wonderful place. It's kind of like your community living room, and that's what we've been striving to create, a very kind and safe place where nobody is judged and nobody is going to ask you for money. So yeah, there's not a lot of places like that in the world.
My experience has been very positive. Thank you for everything you do.
Oh, it is my pleasure. I love my job and I love serving the communities that we serve. I really do.
E-bikes aren't allowed in there, are they?
You know what? I have to tell you guys, I
Just
just
checking.
bought an e-bike last weekend.
Okay, well,
Can
So
you
you'll
walk
see me
your
on West
e-bike
River.
around?
yes, you can.
Let's not, the other thing I wanted to mention is Teresa is our liaison and thank her for all the time.
Yes, she's on the
and energy.
board,
a lot of
yeah,
time
and
effort into it.
and
Yes, she does.
she's been wonderful working
And that's a
with, I
big
love
deal.
working with Teresa,
So,
yeah.
Thank you to both,
Yes.
yes.
For that.
Yep, she's given us a lot of time and a lot of insight. The library board is extremely supportive of me. I often have to bring issues to them that we discuss, and they've just been incredibly supportive to me. I couldn't do my job without them, so thank you, Teresa, you're amazing.
Thank you very much.
Yep.
We
Any-
good?
Yes.
I haven't been to that library in a long time.
What?
When I was there, I would come in the door off the parking lot by the church. Immediately to the left was the room, and you had these locked cabinets with books in them.
Yep, the local history room, yep.
They're still there. This is
They are
Army
still
Corps of
there.
Engineers stuff and things like
Yep,
that.
I've got copies of the Grosse Ile camera on microfilm. I've got, actually, we just found a huge picture of the Free Bridge opening. And it's just covered with people, and it's a really black and white, beautiful photograph. We've got tons of interesting things in that room,
Have
absolutely.
you got the government documents on BASF and the?
We do
Okay.
on the brownfields and also the,
Right.
just all sorts of things on Grosse Ile and also in Trenton too,
The
yeah.
stuff you read at night if you want to go to sleep.
Yeah, yeah. I've looked at them, but I haven't read through them all. But people do come in to look at them.
It takes a while to learn how to read them. But
Yeah, it's a little confusing for me, but yeah. They are open for the public, as is quite a lot of other really interesting government documents and things like that.
Can I ask you one last quick
Sure, of
question?
course.
Don't you have free passes to like parks and museums?
Yes, thank you.
And
Excellent question. It's called the Michigan Activity Pass, and with your library, you can get discounted passes to different venues and things like that. Like I brought my family to Kensington, and each of our cars from different library cards got a major discount getting in there. And it's not just parks, but it's also venues. We also have discounts on like concert tickets, zoo, Detroit Zoo, Pewabic Tile, just like all
really?
sorts of different places. Thousands, really. And it's all over the state of Michigan, from the UP, down south to Monroe. So, yep.
Thank you.
Excellent question.
to know.
Thank you.
Thank
Yep.
you.
Mhm. Anything else?
You mentioned
Yep.
Pewabic Pottery. My
Yeah.
wife loves that place. What kind of a discount could she get if she had this?
I don't know that off the top of my head, but we can get you that information. If you give us a call, we can tell you the website and show you how to do that.
Thank you.
You're so welcome. Yep. So nice to talk to you all and see you again.
Thank you.
Thank
nice.
you. Thank you for
Thank
your
you.
time.
Thank you very much, Donna. Okay. Public comment is next. Anybody has a comment on anything? Doesn't have to be on the agenda items. Get 3 minutes if anybody would like to come up. And is there anybody in the audience would like to come up and say anything?
I think Chief Roscoe likes public speaking. Look at the dirty look.
All right. That's all right. We're good. Kevin, consent agenda.
Nope. Supervisor Porcelli, I do have 4.
4?
You have 4?
Yep.
I'm sorry.
You're okay.
Sorry, Kevin. Relax a minute, he's got 4.
All right. Lorraine Shelton, Thoroughfare. Leadership demands wisdom and courage, not excuses or wasteful hesitation. New ideas bring courage to move forward so as not to remain stagnant by living in the past. We must not let outsiders create chaos to disrupt. When we work as a team, we find that balance. While watching the last EDA meeting, someone asked why we don't ask residents for $30,000 in additional taxes to relieve the aging infrastructure burden being placed upon the police budget. Instead, we are hopeful the DDA will set a township safety priority, as many other communities in our area have done, to release captured tax funds so as not to compromise a police millage soon to be on the ballot. At the same time, it will show we are not out of touch with the needs of some. Grosse Ile residents deserve shepherds who use all their tax monies wisely during the difficult time by first putting the physical safety of residents, businesses, employees, and school children ahead of tangible facade. The police millage is vital by relieving the overtime strain on our dedicated police personnel and their families while making safety our number one priority for all in Grosse Ile. Next one. Clarice Graham Rucker. I recently rented a home on the island to see if I really wanted to move here before making a big home purchase. I come from a small town further up north. My grandkids are here and I wanted to be closer. I have been reading your newsletter on Facebook. It rocks. We did not get information like this up north. I'm also writing to say I agree with Mick. E-bikes should not be on the nature paths. I am concerned about safety. I wish e-bikes could be fully banned on the island, but I understand that isn't possible. It is also nice to see women in these positions, too many men being misogynistic cronies up there. Next one.
It was supposed to hurt.
Michelle Butler Blackmore.
And I didn't even tell her.
I have been gifted an e-bike for Christmas. I am over 60 and ride responsibility. I am not a young kid wiping around on the sidewalks or streets. I am not going to give up riding bikes. There is a possible ordinance about e-bikes. Adults should be exempt. There are a lot of responsible e-bike adult riders on this island. And the final one, you can time me if you want, Joe. It's going to be a long one.
Really?
John Colton, Macomb Street. For decades, Grosse Ile was one of 17 Wayne County communities that lawfully exercised our right to opt out of the smart bus system under Public Act 196 of 1986. That municipal autonomy was altered when state legislative amendments permanently eliminated local opt-outs within Wayne County. Because of this change in state law, our community can no longer decide in its transit footprint at the individual township level. We are entirely subject to a countywide cumulative majority vote. I want to express concern regarding a transparency issue with the Pacific ballot language. The proposal is framed globally to voters as a renewal. However, because our township successfully maintained its opt-out status in the past, this millage has never actually been levied on our residents. For Grosse Ile property owners, this is functionally a brand-new .9831 mil property tax levy being introduced on our local tax roll under a misleading label. It would be highly beneficial if our township leadership could help clarify this distinction as our community is fully informed at the ballot box. To put the size of this tax into perspective, this .9831 mil transit rate is more than half the size of the township's upcoming 1.7 mil police and fire personnel millage proposal. Should both measures pass this August, our residents will face a concurrent millage increase totaling over 2.6 mils. The compounding impact of these two measures creates a serious financial strain for our fixed income seniors who must manage a tighter cost of living without any corresponding expansion in household budgets. Because traditional fixed route bus lines do not align well with our island's distinct geography, we would appreciate knowing the township's proactive plan to coordinate with SMART for dedicated micro-transit assets, such as on-demand local vehicles or subsidized medical transportation that directly benefit our senior population. If local capital is to be directed to our regional system, ensuring an equitable local return on investment is critical. Furthermore, this raises a unique infrastructure concern regarding our municipal toll bridge. Historically, whenever the Free Bridge Wayne County the free Wayne County Bridge undergoes construction, maintenance, or emergency closures, all vehicular detours are diverted to our northern passage. If smart bus routes are introduced to the island, how will the billing structure be applied? We would like to ensure that Grosse Ile taxpayers will not be expected to subsidize county bus crossings on the toll bridge during future county bridge closures or absorb the highway grade wear and tear of multi-ton transit vehicles without commercial toll compensation. I hope the board and the township manager will raise these operational questions with regional transit authorities ahead of the election to ensure our local infrastructure and taxpayers are protected. Thank you for your continued leadership, collaborative spirit, and dedication to Grosse Ile's long-term interests. I am done for the night.
That was under 3 still. Very good. Derek, tomorrow morning when we meet, we're going to talk about this, what he's talking about, this gentleman. I got some questions, but we'll go over that. So, okay, Kevin, you are up.
The consent agenda 26-025, I move that the Township Board approve the consent agenda.
Second.
Thank you, which consists of the minutes of the May 11th, 2026 regular meeting, the minutes of the May 20th, 2026 special meeting, the clerk check and invoice register dated through June 5th, 2026. And that is it.
All right, any questions on the consent agenda? With no on consent agenda 26-025, all in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
All opposed? Motion carried. Okay. Go to the, let me bring up, I'll do the e-bike ordinance. Okay, Grosse Ile Township Board hereby authorize the amendment of Chapter 34 of the Grosse Ile Municipal Code and publication of attached edition of provisions related to electronic bike use within the township.
Need a second?
I need a second.
Second.
Thank you. The Bicycle and Pedestrian Advisory Committee has worked over the past 8 months to draft an ordinance amendment regarding e-bikes. E-bikes have increasingly become popular and prevalent within the community. As such, regulations around their usage has become necessary. The attached ordinance amendments have been reviewed by legal as well as Grosse Ile Police Department. And I will also add to that by myself, and Nicole actually was heading up the program, Nicole Summit from BPAC. So I think we went over everything. And I would like to have a vote as is, meaning what's in there right now. And if we need to tweak it, we can always tweak it. If we need to get any change, whatever, however you want to do it. But I want to do it on the whole right now, and we'll get this moving, and we'll go from there. So,
Joe, can we comment though? Because I checked with the chief on how he would enforce it, and he gave me a brief answer. I just want to read his answer.
saves me a meeting tomorrow morning. Go ahead.
He said, police officers may lawfully monitor trail entrances and public access points to observe for violations of trail regulations. If e-bikes are prohibited by ordinance tonight, officers can identify riders entering restricted trails and enforce the law through warnings or citations based on their direct observations. So,
All right.
yeah.
All right, thank you.
Joe, can I make this clear? Are we, in this thing as it's now structured, are we saying we've got e-bikes on these trails or not?
Which trails? No, they're not allowed on the nature trails. They're allowed on the bike paths, not the nature trails,
Okay,
because they are a bicycle by state law. They're under the bicycle laws.
okay.
Okay?
Does that include the Nature and Land Conservancy properties?
Yes, anywhere where there's natural, it shows any like natural, what do you call it, layout.
Thank you.
Yes. Okay, e-bike ordinance, action item number 1. All in favor say aye.
Aye.
Aye. All opposed say nay.
Nay, I think people should be able to walk their bikes through, not ride.
Okay, well, we can address that, Mark.
I understand. I just want to make it.
That's
record. I understand where everybody's coming from. I just think people should be able to walk through
Well, I thought,
their bikes.
may I ask a question?
Yeah.
So it's over.
When Derek said shall, you used the word,
I think the terminology is, may not use, so I think it depends what the definition, who's defining what use means, right? The PD, depending upon what they view that language to be. I guess that would be my input on that.
so there is flexibility in
Sure.
somebody walking it through.
Sure, and if the police department says it's not an issue, it's not an issue. Yeah. If they believe that they're truly walking it through the whole way and have no reason, yeah, if that's how they want to handle it, great. Yeah. Okay, motion carried then for e-bikes. Thank you all who did any work on this. Action item number 2, Bob, do you want to come up in case there's questions? Well,
Bob, smile. Just smile once.
I guess,
That is not a smile.
okay, Mickey, why don't you take number 2?
Okay. I'm sorry. I gotta pull it up. I was too busy aggravating him. The recommendation is approval to use the Hastings Air Energy Control for the diesel exhaust extraction system.
Second.
The diesel exhaust extraction system is designed to capture and remove diesel exhaust fumes at the source when vehicles start and leave the building, helping protect personnel from exposure to harmful toxins and improving indoor quality. I do have comments on it, but we'll all have comments, right?
We'll have opportunity for them.
Yeah. Do you want me to have my comments now? or you
Oh,
want me to
I'm
wait?
sorry, I thought you were going to start talking, yes, go ahead.
Okay, so, again, I have comments. I'm not as good as Bill Stevenson in talking. So firefighters face a higher risk of cancer than the general population due to long-term exposure to a range of carcinogens during their work. The exposures come from both the fires that they fight and the equipment and environments they can work in. You can imagine when a house is on fire and all the different things in the furniture and everything that's burning and all the chemicals in there. So they have a significant occupational health risk also from the diesel exhaust. When they pull those vehicles in and that diesel is running, then they shut the doors, and that's another contaminant that can get them sick. And it's linked to lung and bladder cancer, among other things. Long-term exposure in the station air can add to cancer risk over their career time. The exhaust can travel not only from the apparatus bays, but into training areas and offices. And especially note on that, it's a public safety building, so that can go to the firefighters as well as the police officers. Diesel exhaust contains 30 to 100 times more particles than gasoline exhaust, increasing carcinogen intake. We can't control the amount of smoke that you're around and battling a fire, but we can address this issue with the diesel exhaust that you're exposed to, and that's what this would do. And you do have the funds available to implement this.
All right, thank you. Any questions for Fire Chief on this, or Mickey?
Couple
Yes, sir.
questions.
Go ahead.
Looking at the, only one company,
Bob, seriously, why don't you come on up? This is, people can't hear you from the audience, that's why.
Okay, sorry, your question?
thank you, Chief. One of the questions I have is, there is only one bidder for this.
Correct, we put it out in the newspaper, and we put it on the Grocery Township website for, I think it was 3 weeks, and we only got one bid on it. There's not a whole lot of companies that specialize in this equipment, so I wasn't expecting too many. I was expecting more than one, but that's what we got.
Did you also have like personal contact with a couple of vendors that, I mean,
I've had personal contact.
You
So
reached
about
out,
about
right?
a year and a half ago, I got budgetary quotes from 3 different companies. So I was expecting to get something from all three of them. One was the one who bid on it eventually, and it was the company that made the most trips out to our location and gave me the most feedback, so it worked out on my behalf anyway. But I did make contact with three companies over this process.
So the other question, and this is just out of curiosity,
Sure.
is, so this takes the diesel fumes and processes them and puts clean air out? Or?
Sure, there's some photos in the packet. So what it is, it's a hose that connects to the tailpipe of the apparatus, and it's connected to a rigid piping system throughout the apparatus bay. And there's a extraction device on the roof. So when the apparatus is started, there's a sensor that reads the pressure in the system. It'll turn on the fan, and it'll suck the exhaust out of the building. And you can't filter carbon monoxide out of exhaust gas. You can filter particulates, but you can't filter carbon monoxide out. It's got to be extracted from the building and ejected from the building. And that's what the system does. It's going to be in all the apparatus bays, so we have 8 apparatus bays altogether. That's to cover all apparatus bays. We're one of 2 departments in Southeast Michigan that don't have this. And I don't know if everybody's aware, but in the last 2 years, for the last 150 years, heart attacks, cardiac events have been the leading cause of death for firefighters. It's now cancer. So every chief before me has been lucky enough to do their little part. As technology changes, as studies come out, and we become more aware of the danger and the health risks, the previous chiefs have done their part to take safeguards into the fire department, whether it be extraction machines for washing our gear, specialized dryers for drying our gear. This is the next step. This is my part. We have the funds. It's time to do it, and that's what I propose we do.
So, and this is, somebody asked me this question. If you go to if you get your car worked on, they stick a hose and stick it out the door. That doesn't work for the fire department.
So what this hose does is, as you drive out of the fire department, the hose follows you and disconnects itself as you leave. So there's no human interaction. It's safer. Nobody has to stand outside the vehicle and connect or disconnect a hose. So that's what it's designed for.
So each vehicle has a special port?
Each vehicle has a hose attached to a rail that follows the truck out. It detaches from the vehicle when it leaves. And this is not just for health purposes. In the wintertime now, we can run our vehicles for maintenance without taking them outside. The exhaust lands on our turnout gear. So our turnout gear is absorbing carcinogens every time somebody starts a truck. You can't see the carcinogens. We can't wash our gear every time somebody starts a truck. Okay, so this is just another safeguard. Michigan Department of Health and Human Services just sent out a 68-page study on PFAS and carcinogens and diesel fumes, and it's just the dust landing on the floor from the trucks when they come back from a fire. So now we're going to increase the washing of our apparatus bay. There's all kinds of things we learn every year about this stuff. Unfortunately, this one's quite expensive, but we have the money for it. I budgeted for it. It's there, and it's an easy decision. So, any more questions?
I've
Sir?
Joe,
got,
Go ahead.
I think I read in there, we have an ability to purchase things through an approved provider, if I'm not mistaken. I'm not sure, I'm talking in abstract terms. This provider of this quote of 67,000, was that person recognized by the state? It's considered to be an acceptable price for the vehicle, for the apparatus.
You're referring to this quote?
Yes,
You said 67,000?
that's what I thought the number was for that thing.
No,
94.
it's 94,000.
I've got something mixed up there.
Yeah.
But-
So all the budgetary quotes that I received were all within relatively close to each other. When this company came out, they had some ideas. We were kind of in a unique situation the way our apparatus bay is laid out. Our 2 ambulance bays are very small and tight, confined spaces. So they're actually modifying their system a little bit to give us more room in there, so we're not so cramped. So
I think I'm thinking about the bridge. They bought that machine. I got the 2 purchases mixed up.
Or
oh,
that
the
Michigan
Bobcat.
one
The
that-
Bobcat.
You're talking about the Bobcat, is that, yeah.
the state of Michigan has a purchasing program, which I think you guys utilized for the generator. I think that's what Mr. Heil's talking about.
Okay. Nope, not for this one.
Okay.
But I also, just to let you know, we just submitted a grant through the state, so I'm hoping possibly to get some of this funding back. So,
That's great. Thank you, Chief.
okay. Any more questions? Joe, anything?
I'm good.
Do you benchmark other fire departments, chief, just to make sure that you have all of the equipment that you need safety-wise? Because to your point, it is somewhat concerning that, you know, you're one of the last to have gotten something like this. And I know when I spoke with Chief Camilleri about, and you mentioned it too, highlighted it, was the washer for.
Yep, the extractor?
Yep, the extractor. It concerns me that we're kind of slow on this, in the sense of, you know, is there anything we can do to help make sure that you get what you need?
I think the support you're giving me now is, and I'm doing the right thing with the funds, just like the previous chiefs. You know, we're doing what we can, right? We don't have all the money in the world. We do things year after year after year, right? We're updating our apparatus so they're cleaner. Each model year apparatus we get is cleaner than the one 20 years beforehand, right? So updating our equipment. Every time something comes out technology-wise, extractors for the gear, dryers for the gear, we're doing really well. You know,
Okay,
even
good.
these other departments that have had these things for years, you go and some of them aren't functioning anymore, right? Because they didn't maintain them.
Take
You know,
care
so
of 'em.
just because they've been utilizing this equipment for years doesn't mean that. Also, I wanted to point out that. There was something else I wanted to bring up about what our plan was for, the only thing that we don't have is, a lot of other departments have second set of turnout gear, so they can wash their turnout gear after a structure fire, and they have a set ready to go. We don't have that luxury. We have to turn our gear around fast. So we have a structure fire today. I give everybody 24 hours to get in there and wash their gear and get it on the dryer. Manufacturer recommendation, we can't use a commercial dryer to dry our gear, so we're limited to how we dry our gear. That's the next thing I'll be coming to the board for.
Chief,
Is second set of turnout gear.
you have a capital improvement plan?
Correct.
So would you include those things in?
So the capital improvement plan, or replacement plan, pretty much covers when things need to be replaced, right? So turnout gear is 10 years, helmets are 10 years, apparatus are set, so forth, right? Engine, ladder, ambulance. Second set of turnout gear wouldn't be a replacement plan, it'd be an additional,
Well,
right? And that is not in our capital replacement plan right now.
I'm thinking about needs that you,
Correct.
and how many people, I can't imagine everybody doing their laundry at one time.
So if we have a structure fire and there's 10 people, a dozen people on it, our extractor can only wash 2 sets at a time. It takes an hour each. And then our dryer only holds 4 sets. So it's a struggle to get everybody washed and back into service.
I know those machines are not inexpensive, but would it make sense to have more turnout gear or more equipment to wash it?
Yes.
Both.
We can talk about this more.
Awesome, great, thank you.
Is there room for more turnout gear or equipment?
We can make room, Bill.
You can make a room for the washers.
We
and
always have
dryers.
room for new equipment. Whatever you want to allow me to purchase, I'll make room for it. Deal?
Chief, seriously though, aren't you supposed to shower and wash your gear within so many minutes after you battle a fire? And I know you can't because you're still battling the fire, but from what I understand, they say it's within a certain time frame, and it's a very short period before it can really start to impact you.
Sure, there's data out there, right? But most of it's not realistic.
Right.
You know, they want you to wipe down everything that's not covered by gear. They want you to wipe down on scene. If you,
Right.
it's not going to happen.
Right.
But I also
So
heard
we
that-
do what we can do realistically. So
Yeah.
we purchase the wipes. We have the cleaning machine, the machinery to clean. We update the equipment. this exhaust system is gonna be a huge, a piece of the puzzle. Not having that exhaust gas into the building is gonna be huge, so.
Thank you to you and all those who work or volunteer for the fire department. Thank you, Chief.
All right, action item number 2, approval to use Hastings Air Energy Control for diesel exhaust gas removal. All in favor, say aye.
Aye.
All opposed, motion carried. Thank you, Chief.
Thank you very much. Appreciate
All right, let me pull up the Bobcat. Okay, the Township Board approves the purchase of Bobcat UW 56 at a cost of $67,679. Need a second.
Second.
Toll Bridge owns 2 Bobcats multi-purpose vehicles. The vehicles are used for maintenance, including snow removal, salt spreading, escorting vehicles, transportation, etc. The bridge has a number of implements that connect to these vehicles to accomplish above stated actions. Because of their current condition, a replacement unit was listed in the bridge's 2026 budget. Carlton Equipment Company has the state bid and the contract for Bobcat equipment. The purchase proposal, based upon the state bid contract, which satisfies Township's bidding requirements. The bridge requires 2 units. The bridge will surplus out the least reliable, desirable unit. GIDPS may be interested in that unit. A fair market value will be determined. A Bobcat dealer and reimbursement of the toll bridge account will occur. The DPS department has similar attachments to Bobcat skid steer, which can be used on the Bobcat multi-use vehicle. Okay, this is a budgeted item. Any questions or concerns on this item?
Before I even comment, I was confused on this one. Is the bridge buying one, or is the township buying the used ones of the bridge?
Well, to answer your question, the bridge is buying a new one. The least desirable one, the one that Toll Bridge wants to surplus out, the DPS department may purchase that.
They may want it, the DPS.
But to be able to determine adequate compensation to the Toll Bridge account from DPS, we would get a quote from the Bobcat dealer saying this is what it's worth on a trade-in or a surplus disposal amount.
What are we asking to approve?
So this is
tonight?
just the purchase. We'll deal with the other aspect later. That was included to let you know what the disposition of the second unit would end up being, or what the intent is. If we decide not to go that route, we would then have a formal surplus action item that would go before the township board, and we would indicate in that action item the disposal method, more than likely via auction or trade-in to the dealer.
Yeah, the 67,000 is
Gotcha.
what we're voting on now.
Okay.
That's what we're voting on.
Yes.
Bill, you got a question?
Couple of questions for Derek. I noticed that those pieces of equipment were in pretty bad shape. But when I drove off the bridge, I noticed that they were out in the weather a good bit of time. It seems, with knowing that, recommending we find some kind of shelter for the vehicle, the Bobcat, would be prudent over time. But the other question is, the previous operation of the bridge used 2 Bobcats, and we're going to be operating it with 1. Is that going to be okay?
The intent would be to continue to operate with 2.
We'll be with 2.
So we'll take the better of the 2 that we now own and perhaps use parts off of the other one to make it even better, or whatever. We'll make the best decision for the circumstance.
Yes, we'll use the best conditioned one as the secondary vehicle for up there. The worst conditioned one may go to DPS.
The 2 that are there, though, while they look equal, were equipped differently with attachments, were they not? When I was reading that, I had the feeling that one might have more buckets or things that you could put on it.
The buckets, the implements are interchangeable with
So the
both
other one
units.
you could transfer them from the one to the other if you
Correct,
needed
yeah.
to.
Both units are capable of carrying the same attachments.
Got it.
They're virtually the exact same vehicles.
Oh, that's what I was asking.
Yeah.
We can bring up the concern regarding the inside storage to the Bridge Commission. My understanding was the units that are there were first used privately and then transferred eventually to the toll bridge. So they may have had used units to begin with there, so there might have been some wear and tear that wasn't completely associated with toll bridge usage prior to them arriving there. But also they do get a lot of wear and tear. They get used heavily. They're used for plowing. They're used for salting. They're used for sweeping. So they get quite a bit of use. So as you can see, I think there were hours that were listed for the units on the packet information, and they have quite a few hours on them. Both of them do, and I think one's an 18 and one's a 20. So they're fairly, I mean, age-wise for township equipment, they're fairly new units, but they do get used a lot as the hours would indicate. So.
My personal reaction, I never remember the exact hours, but it was something like 8,000 is the number I recall. But it seemed that for the age of the units, that the number of hours of usage, if you divided it by that, wasn't all that great.
Yeah, I think as far as equipment goes, they're fairly high hour units, but nonetheless, the new unit obviously will be far more reliable. It's a new unit. It's got a warranty associated with it. And it really, reliability is important for operation because they really need two working units.
Yes.
The maintenance for these, the repairs for these units as they continue to fail has become, a bit of a burden, not only from them being out, but also from a cost standpoint. So there's a lot of benefits to a new unit, and that's why it's being requested.
All right, thank you. Anyone else? With none, action item number 3, recommend approval of Bobcat UW 56 purchase. All in favor, say aye.
Aye.
All opposed, nay. Motion carried. Okay, number 4, DuPont and 3M PFAS settlement. Now, Brian, bear with me. I'm not going to read this. It doesn't even have the first part. So the Township of Groseal, bear with me on this, is how I'm going to word it. Commit to taking action and reasonable steps to recover cost reimbursement available in the 3M and DuPont public drinking water settlements and to reduce costs to its consumers.
Second?
All right. The rest of the recommendation here and the you can read that, or I'm sure you read it already, and we went through this in the closed session. What this is for, we're voting on to join in this civil action against the two companies, and our attorneys will be, or one attorney, not Kristen, but it's her partner, isn't it, that's going to be
An attorney with the firm, yes.
with the firm, will be handling our end of it. So we went through this on I won't go through the whole resolution here and all that. Like I said, or as I said, rather, you can read the rest of that. So since we went over it already in closed session, I'm going to ask for a vote then. All in favor to join this civil class action lawsuit, all in favor say aye.
Aye.
All opposed, say nay. Okay, motion carried. Thank you. And that is in the packet and can be read. All right. I'll do the next one too. Let me pull that up. Would be the Tipsy Fish, excuse me, settlement. Okay, the Groseal Township Board authorizes the signature of the consent judgment between the Township of Groseal and Tipsy Fish LLC.
Second?
Aye.
All right, so hold on a second. We got a second. I just want to explain real quick. As we discussed in closed session, I don't know how much can be talked about, and we agreed to a settlement. So I will just say that the Tipsy Fish settlement, all in favor to move forward on the settlement, say aye.
Aye.
All opposed, say nay. Motion carried. Derek, because it was in closed session, I'm not trying to hide anything, but you really can't talk about much of anything other than we're voting on a settlement between us and the previous tenant.
Yeah, and it's to address past due rent, I guess I would.
We can address it?
I would say
state
that.
that?
Yep.
Okay. That is to recoup what is owed to us, some of what is owed to us.
That is correct.
All right, thank you very much. I wanted to make sure. I gave enough, but not the incorrect amount. Okay, Kevin, I think you got number 6.
This is agenda item based on a recommendation from the Groseal Department of Public Services. The Groseal Township Board hereby approves the following 2026-2027 water and sewer rate adjustments. The sewer service charge, the current charge is $55.03. The new adjusted charge will be $61.10 per quarter. The sewer meter charge is currently $4.98. The adjustment will be to $6.98 per unit. Water service charge currently $24.32, adjusted to $36.87 per quarter. Water meter charges currently are $12.71, and that will stay at that amount. Refuge charges currently are $61.23 per quarter, and they will be adjusted to $63.83 per quarter. And the history of the changes, in summary, rate increases associated with.
I'm sorry, I didn't mean to interrupt you. Did we get a second? I'll second it.
Second, thank you.
Go ahead, sorry, Ken.
Thank you. In summary, rate increases associated with capital improvements in the water department are being delayed to accommodate rate increases in sewers. The only rate increases in water are associated with the GLWA, which is the Great Lakes Water Authority. The rate increases and some minor additional expenses in various line items. The proposed rate increases in sewers are to fund capital improvements already under contract and being funded via grants. These expenses are only expected in fiscal year 26-27. As such, once these projects are complete, the rates in sewer can be reduced to accommodate rate increases in capital work in the water fund. The current average bill, based upon using 15,000 gallons of water per quarter, is $405.93, or $135.31 per month. The proposed rate increase will increase the average bill to $456.70 per quarter, which is approximately $150 to $2.23 per month. And this is the implementation schedule. This is first of all, it's a 12.5% rate increase. The implementation schedule will be July 1st of 2026. And that's the history and purpose and explanation. And Derek, if you would like to make comments, and Mr. Bill Kostick, who has done a lot of work on putting this together and is here to help explain how he and the Department of DPS came up with and why they came up with the increases.
Hello, everybody. Nice to be here. My purpose tonight is, and Kevin's been along for the journey we've had, is to explain to you that we've taken this very serious. I hear a lot about rate increases, even in Kroger's, the drugstore. So we've been conscious about that over the years. And what I wanted to explain to you is that starting last March of 2025, we received a report from our consultants. It's called the Water Asset Management Plan, which is required by the state. Every 10 years, we have to do this kind of analysis. And they actually do testing of all the fire lines between hydrants, see what kind of pressure it takes. And downstairs in Derek's office, there's a display of a 6-inch water pipe with the corrosion that builds up, doesn't wash down through the water, but it builds up. Some of the 6-inch lines are down to 4 inches. And so primarily, everybody has water supply in their homes, but we're talking about fire flow. I wish the chief were still here, but that's the purpose of the water study. So as we approach that, the consultants had a recommendation of about $25 million of projects. How do we deal with that? Well, we thought, well, that's 25 years worth of capital improvements. And on average, the average cost is about $1 million a year. So we studied that last summer, boiled it down to 7 priority projects. So for the next 7 years, we would entertain a project a year, and give or take $1 million for each one of them. Some, in fact, the first couple are 1.2, 1.3 million, and then there's one for 600,000. That's based on estimates of today's cost projected into the future. Anyway, make a long story short. Then Derek and his staff applied. We also have a sewer program where we, every 5 years, we go through the whole township and analyze all the sewers, and I think you're all familiar with that because you budgeted for it. And we TV inspect all the sewer lines. If we have a failure in a sewer, we'll go fix it right away, have money in the budget for that. But Derek got a grant for lining a lot of our bad sewers. And when sewers leak real bad, that water goes into the wastewater plant. We're treating it all the time. So anyway, and then we've done a manhole study. Several manholes needed to be corrected, rebuilt from the inside, where the brick, the old manholes were built with brick, and the mortar's cracking in them, taking out a lot of water. So anyway, that project is a $1.3 million grant. We have to match it with 20% and all the engineering. That's about $800,000. So we studied these rates, and what I want to tell you is we started at $10 a month. Simple. You know, how many customers do we have? $10 a month. And we realized that's only going to raise about $400,000 a year. We could have easily said, well, let's go to $20 or $25, and we looked at that. But then we all decided that that was too much. So we backed off. And the rates that are being suggested tonight actually are $16.92 a month, or $50.76. Why I'm telling you all this is we took this very seriously to make these recommendations. Kevin's been part of it. Derek's certainly been part of it. We thought we had 3 big issues we were confronted with. One, we knew that with the sewer grants, which is a good thing, we're fixing a lot of our bad sewers, manholes. We had to make the match. We had to meet the match. The second issue, we can't ignore the water main improvements that are needed. And Derek has put together this map. There's another half to this map, but it shows you the red demonstrate all the lining projects, which are numerous, and then the water, the blue, indicates our water improvements, and they are scattered throughout the whole township, from the very north part of the township to the south part.
Yep, and as Bill's mentioning, this is the northern end. What is in red is the sewer work that we're doing. What is in blue is what is the proposed water work that we'll be doing. You see a lot of work on the north end, but also a lot of work on the south end. So you'll see from basically midline of the island south, that's the map that references that.
In fact, our first priority project at the north end is, you know, where they come over the toll bridge, and you go north on Meridian up to Paulina Street, if you're familiar with that. I know Kevin is. That section of water main, we didn't have enough money 5 years ago to fix it when we did the one on Meridian. And then the second priority project is demonstrated on this, which is on Hickory Island, as you go on the island. So that's both north and south ends of the island for the water projects. So at any rate, we didn't take this lightly. We really studied it, and I appreciate hearing from you. I know it's in the budget to do something with this. These are the recommendations we're making. So thank you very much for listening to me. I appreciate it.
Thank you, William.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Wanted to emphasize, you know, I think in our fiscal year budget, we had actually recommended and gotten approved rate adjustments that would have allowed both the sanitary work and the water work. But I think we were sitting here probably 3-4 months ago, and there was a resident that had come up and said, hey, you know, things are tight everywhere, obviously. You know, be very aware of what the rate adjustment is for this year and moving forward. So it wasn't just because of that one comment, but I think that was, really emphasizes how important this was to the community, right? So DPS went back and said, what do we have to fund this year? And and the chairman already mentioned this, but I want to emphasize this. What is most important this year? What can we delay some? And we said sewer is an ongoing project. We have to fund that. So we prioritize that with the funding structure. And the idea is once that work is complete, that we can shift those dollars next year over to the water account and start these water projects. So we're delaying these water projects for 12 months, get the sewer out of the way, and then adjust those rates to rebalance those incoming dollars to fund the water work for next fiscal year. So we're not getting everything that we would like to do, but we're getting what we need to do this year and next moving forward. These, as the chairman had mentioned, all these projects are based upon a massive capital improvement inventory or capital inventory and development of an asset management and capital improvement plan that'll take us out over the next 25 years. And as we know, those capital improvement plans are not any good if you put them on the shelf and you just don't act on them. In addition to that, all those capital improvements that we've proposed and are being proposed by our consultants, we are required by the state to act on these. So it's not something that we can just shelve and not work on. That's out of the question. There were some additional questions that were posed to me. Rate structures are the way that an enterprise fund is supposed to function. You're supposed to charge the rate for what you sell to be able to account for the cost of not only the operation, but also the maintenance of the capital projects that are necessary for the program. Also, as far as the capital improvement work that we're doing, once again, it's very critical. So, when we charge these rates, criticality is universal across the community, but also by adjusting your user fees, if you use more of that commodity or that, you bear more of the cost of that. So if you focus more on like a taxation model, although there is a factor of value of the home, this is a direct line with these user charges to, you pay for more if you use more of that utility. So that's kind of the logic behind, adjustment of the rate structures to account for capital improvements. I don't know if you want add anything else, but.
Yeah, I do. I had an afterthought. One of the considerations we talked about was bonding, taking on these 7 or 10 projects that just issue a bond for them. And the amount of, and that would have meant after the 7 or 10 years for water, we wouldn't have any money. We'd be indebted for all the bond payments and a substantial amount of interest that would have accumulated. And on your page 196, the second page of the memo I prepared, Derek has put down that we're going to, we've retired some water bonds to the extent of $378,000 that we've been paying on water debt that we won't pay. So that means the $800,000 that we're talking about raising, plus that $378,000 would give us $1.2 million every year. And for example, one project I know we're trying to plan for is we've been pushing the county about the Elba Bridge going to Elba Island and Hickory Island. We had a meeting with the county a couple of weeks ago and pointed out to the new director there, who is an engineer. I was pleased with his attitude. He wrote down, and we talked about the bridges, that we have 75 residents on Elba that would be trapped, not be able to get home if the bridge were to fail. And so we're pushing that bridge. Hopefully we'll be lucky with it someday. Bridge money's tight, but we have to relocate a water main that goes under the canal alongside the bridge. And the estimated cost is between $250,000 to $350,000. So we're trying to think of how we can be prepared to move forward with that relocation of that water main. Those are the kind of things that arise. And so I just want you to know we've given a lot of thought to it. So be happy to answer any other questions that you might have.
You mentioned at the beginning of what you said, thank you very much for presenting this again tonight. and it's been presented at the DPS meetings and discussed at
For months,
multiple.
right.
Right. And thank you, and to all of the people on the DPS commission, thanking them too. And Derek, a lot of work has been gone into this. One of the most important things, as you mentioned, was the making sure that there is enough water flow to put out a fire in case that happens in an area that has pipes that are either
They're old 6-inch pipes that are
yeah,
corroded.
Yeah, that would make, I've heard that it could increase, if you don't have water flow for fighting fires, it could increase your home fire, the insurance for your home. I've heard that as a consideration. And once again, that these issues are not, these are not things that we can put off as a community because the state of Michigan requires us to do this. It has to be done.
Yep.
So, thank you.
So I have a question for you.
Yep.
A while back, I saw a really good publication, and I'm sorry, I don't know who produced it, but it really showed all the financial information, the work that you needed to get done. It projected it into the future. You probably have an auditor that prepared it. Do you know the document I'm referring to?
You're talking about our capital improvement plan?
That was probably at Derek. I think you gave it to me earlier. How
Could have
often-
been Derek that prepared it. He's pretty good at that.
No, it wasn't me. Thank you, though.
He is.
But it was not.
How often does that get updated?
Constantly, every year at least, as we do projects, that gets incorporated into those plans. Things fall off, things come back on. Our sanitary sewer system, we're required to televise and clean everything, a portion of the community every year. With that information, that gets built back into our capital improvement plan to reprioritize our projects. And that's where all this comes from, right? All these projects that we're working on, all those red lines, those came from that capital improvement plan. So that will get updated once this work is complete. So it can be annually, it can be, once that cycle is through. So it's almost constantly being updated.
Can you give the board a copy of the latest version of that? 'Cause
Absolutely.
I think it helps us understand, because a lot of this, there's a lot of moving pieces. And when it comes to the township, these are some of the biggest expenses for the township. Another thing is, so these go into effect July 1st, right? Which is right in time for like the largest water consumption over the summertime. And so, I've seen bills go up to $1,000 between showers and water in the lawn. So like, say you have a bill of $1,000, like what do you see that going up to?
12.5% more than what it was, so.
12,
Yeah.
yeah, be 12.
So if in July, you won't get billed till September, but still, it goes up as you say.
Yeah, and then it's for the 3 months, and so it gets pretty high. Is there any thought to at least maybe allowing for monthly billing so that people don't get hit with 3 months at once?
Yep, we've had conversations about that.
I think the higher the rate, the more it would be valued.
So we recently hired a new water clerk, so that's gonna be some of the conversation we're gonna have with her to see whether that makes sense. We have to balance the cost of doing a monthly billing against a quarterly, because there is an increase in cost, not only in mailings, but in labor. So we'd have to figure out whether we would have the capacity and what that expense would be. We do allow residents to pay ahead, so if you wanted to pay on a monthly basis, you could make those payments monthly to kind of budget it.
How would you do it? Like, how would you know the amount?
You would estimate it based upon your past consumption. Most of us are creatures of habit, although, like you mentioned, during the summer months, you do see more consumption, but we can give you that information. You'd be very surprised. Most people's quarterly bills are very similar to one another as far as month or quarter to quarter. So you could talk to the water department. They could give you your history. We can go back quite a few years so you can see where you're at. But you are correct. I mean, getting hit with a $500 quarterly bill is sticker shock compared to getting $150 per month. I wouldn't disagree with that, which is commonplace your monthly bills are for everything that you pay, whether your mortgage, your electric and gas bills, your cell phone, your, cable TV, all those are on a monthly basis. It's just,
The other thing is people are busy too, and the water bill and the boat club are the only two bills that don't get paid automatically for me. And so even the credit card bills now, I can check a box and it will pay the total balance. And so, just thinking of people's busy schedules.
and we also do offer like automatic payment, so you can go on our website and there's instructions on how to do that if you would like to do that, so.
So it'll swipe it quarterly?
It'll automatically debit it, yes.
Is it a
Yeah.
significant fee?
I think it's 3% fee,
Oh, it charges them 3%?
yes.
We
Yeah,
did
there's,
discuss.
Oh, it doesn't swipe it from the bank account, it uses a credit card?
I
They
think,
can take from there, but there's still a fee.
I think there's still a fee.
There's still a low percentage.
Okay.
Couple
Michelle, that's a
percent.
good point. We did discuss that, having a monthly bill.
Yeah.
But since we lost our billing clerk, and we know that the monthly billing, we can read the meters, no problem. But the problem with the clerk is it would really, there'd be a substantial increase in our billing help. And we just, that's as far as we got with it.
Did you consider doing anything online, like, so you don't have to send out mailers, you can save money that way?
We do that, so you can sign up for an email bill, and a lot of people do. But we still have a lot of residents that prefer to have a paper bill,
But I
for
think
what
the
reason.
more that you can do, because then when does our tax bill come out in the fall?
December 1st,
They mail them after December 1st.
December 1st, right?
Don't they mail them well before then?
No,
I don't think so.
no.
Okay. But I mean, anything you can do, because like I know I'll get $1,000 bill
Oh,
or
sure.
a $1,200 bill. And
Yep.
it's for the 3 months
Right.
after the summertime.
Yep.
I'm a gardener.
You're,
But I
Just-
mean, a lot of people, I mean, they're really going month to month, right? And so asking for 3 months is a lot. And then when you add that big of an increase, and I mean, I really do give deference to the commissions and committees, but that's just a big increase.
yep, it is.
It, just so that it's, I'll say it again, the good news is that we are paying as we go. We're not borrowing money to do this. The DPS commission has found a way to not have to bond this, which would add a significant amount of interest income that we would have to pay. The other part of it is that we do continue to talk and discuss how we can make it easier for tax or for users to pay their bills and set it up if they want to have it electronically taken out of their account. We can discuss that further. So we are always looking for ways to make economies and make it easier for everybody. Just so that we know as a community, this is a statewide issue, a national issue of water and sewer improvements that have been neglected over the years, and everybody is paying catch-up, trying to make this work and make it more palatable. Nobody likes to see a huge bill like that.
Well,
or
it's
a
not
big
like,
bill.
it's not like the roads. You can't see the water and sewer line.
Right, right.
But you use them every day, so.
Right, and again, these are things that are mandated by the state and federal government that we have to do. So,
I would also add to that, the township continues to pursue alternative funding anywhere that we can, whether it's grants. We just put in for a federal appropriation for the water capital improvements that are actually listed on this page, and the other half of it. So obviously, if those alternative sources come through, then, adjustments to rate structures don't need to occur, or they're not as significant of a change. Obviously, we can't guarantee those, so we have to plan to not have them, but if they come through, it's a bonus, obviously, so.
would you just say, over the last, just take 5 years, my understanding is there's multiple millions of dollars that have come to us in grants.
Absolutely. I think the original grant was $3.8 million for and that's the one that, the chairman's mentioning that we're using for the sewer work. So if we didn't have that, you would add 80% to that expense, so, you know.
And if we don't do it, the state and feds can come in and force us to do it, and we have to pay for it either way.
Well, since we have the plan and the state's seen the plans, we just can't ignore it.
Right.
So, I don't know how punitive they might be, but we have to address our commitments.
Thank you, Mr. Costick, Chairman Costick, and thank you, Derek.
Thank you for both your reports.
Yep.
Informative, very informative.
Actually, it's not a question, I have a suggestion. We were talking back earlier, quite a bit, about water bills and how they would be paid. And when it comes up quarterly, you still get one lump sum. If you try to break it down into three, you got help to pay to get those bills done with our current systems. But you mentioned that the resident could ask for the 3-month payments if he could pay that way. I never knew that was possible. What I'm suggesting, and I don't know if it is possible for you to do this, but we get these little cards that tell us what the bill is every quarter. If you could somehow, along with that, include a comment that says the heating, the time to water your lawn is coming up, and you sometimes face a bigger water bill. If you'd like to pay it for 3 months, we would be glad for you to estimate it with us or to accept a bill that we would spread out over 3 months. And you could pay it automatically out of your checkbook. And you wouldn't have to, if you were doing it with a checkbook, you wouldn't have to worry about paying MasterCard or Visa the 3%.
The mailing has a cost, but you know what? DPS could write an article for the newsletter, and there would be no cost with that.
Sure.
So that's a good idea.
Well, maybe you do both. I mean,
Yeah.
people don't see all these things all the time, but let them know that we're there to help them, because that has something to do with, even if they don't take advantage of it, they know that we care and that we're trying to do something positive to ameliorate circumstance.
Exactly.
It's a good suggestion.
Yeah.
All right, thank you, Bill.
Can I just make one
All right.
final comment?
Oh, absolutely.
Derek shared with me the article that he wrote, that the city managers, so there's an organization, ICMA, the City County Manager Association, and 15,000 members worldwide are members of that. And this appeared on the cover of Public Management, their monthly magazine. It's a beautiful article, and he's getting a lot of notoriety out of it. So anyway, I just wanted to say to you, this is a great thing that he's done for that. So, thank you very much.
But if any other employers are listening, he's really not that good.
Well, yeah, that's a good point.
We want him to stay with us.
Okay, action item number 6, rate approval for year 26-27, which includes water, sewer, and refuse.
Do we need to wait? Mark, start here.
Oh, yeah.
Okay.
Sorry to burst the bubble.
We can go to the next one.
Be the
I don't
same
think you
as
can.
will.
Nah,
Can't go out of order.
Tell the stories while we wait, Joe.
yeah, I'll tell you a story. Jameson is not here. Go ahead with your trustees' reports, or your treasurer's report, sir.
Thank you. This is the treasurer's report for the June 8th, 2026 meeting. Finance investments for the month of May, Grosville Township had a total of $20,701,715 invested in various accounts and investment vehicles. These accounts generated interest income of $58,613 with an average interest rate of 2.64%. The May investment report can be viewed on the Treasurer's section at grozil.com. The Treasurer's Office, the 2026 tax season is just around the corner. Summer tax bills will be mailed out the first week of July and are payable July 1st through September 14th. Beginning September 15th, tax penalty charges will apply. All original tax bills are mailed to the property owner at the address that is on record. Mortgage companies that have requested tax bills will receive a duplicate copy. If you are a property owner and fail to receive your tax bill, please contact the Treasurer's Office. In early June, Wayne County sent out letters to those property owners who failed to pay their 2025 property taxes. A notification will also appear on your 2026 forthcoming tax bill regarding these unpaid taxes. If you receive a letter from Wayne County or see a notice on your summer 2026 tax bill, call the Grozil Treasurer's Office if you have any questions. And back to the increase in water rates, all of that information and more detailed information is included in the agenda packet for this meeting, which is available on the Grozil website. And that is everything with the Treasurer's Report, and thank you for paying your taxes.
Thank you, Kevin. Okay, action item number 6, rate approval for year 26-27, water, sewer, and refuse. All in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Opposed, say nay. Motion carried. All right. Let me pull up the library one. Okay, the recommendation is the renewal for the Township Board, the renewal of the Cooperative Library Services Agreement entered on the 8th day of June 2026, effective July 1st, 26, between the City of Trenton, Michigan Municipal Corporation, and the Township of Grozil, Michigan Township.
Second?
All right, the history. You can read the rest of that if you wish. The Township of Grozil has been contracting community with the City of Trenton to provide library services for its residents at the Trenton Veterans Memorial Library since 2014. The Cooperative Library Services Agreement has a 2-year renewal cycle, and our current agreement expires June 30th, 2026. The renewal will extend the original agreement to June 30th, 2028. There are no modifications to the original agreement, which is also attached for your reference. Okay, very good. Are there any questions? Obviously, I think she answered everything during her presentation. Anything?
Teresa, would you tell us how much we spend, what it costs the township to be part of the Trenton Library, please?
It's approximately $250,000 a year.
And it is a use, you're charged by the number of people that use it.
It's based on our 2020 census.
Thank you.
It's our population, isn't it?
I'm sorry?
It's on our population, correct?
Yes,
It's not a use.
Yeah, no.
it's based on our population.
Okay.
Population.
Thank you.
All right, thank you. Renewal of Cooperative Library Services Agreement. All in favor, say aye.
Aye.
All opposed, say nay. Motion carried. Thank you. I do not have the number 8. This would be Jameson, and he is not. He's excused tonight. Does anybody have this up on their computer by chance? Oh. You have it right
I can
there.
read it if you want.
No, I'll just do it. I told him we'll get it done for him. I recommend that the Township Board approves the agreement for CDBG between the Charter of Wayne and Grozil Township.
Second?
This agreement runs from July 1st, 25 through June 30th, 27. It is in regard to community development block grant funds we receive every year, which helps cover costs for our senior transportation and senior events such as our senior bingo. And it is probably, what is it, about 75 pages?
Do you want to read it through all that, or?
You can knock yourself off if you'd like to read the whole agreement. And what we do is, this is renewed every 2 years, I believe. And I'm glad we got what CDBG is. Okay, any questions or concern with this one? All in favor, say aye.
I got a quick question.
Aye.
All opposed, say nay.
There is a question.
Oh, I'm sorry.
Yeah, yeah, that's right.
Go ahead, sir.
I just want to clarify, and I did speak with Derek about this earlier. So this particular grant is for the services only, right? There's no construction involved with this $20,000 that goes to the services for the transport senior citizens back and forth, the bingo, so forth and so on, right?
That is correct.
So anything related to any kind of construction projects, if it were to come up with future grants, would it have to be certified, or licensed contractors, licensed subcontractors, and permits would have to be pulled, is that correct?
That's correct.
All right,
Yeah.
but that doesn't pertain to this particular issue, it's just simply,
Just with the way we use the money.
okay.
Yeah, we
Very
use
good.
the money for services.
I just want to clarify, thank you.
All right, any other questions, concerns from the board? With none, action item number 8, CDBG grant. All in favor, say aye.
Aye.
All opposed, say nay. Motion carried. Thank you. Also, I need a motion from someone just to say that we're going out of.
Hold on one second, Mr. Supervisor. We're gonna have to do this the correct way, so it's my fault, I made the mistake. We did not make a motion to close the public hearing. All right, by law, we needed to, so now we're gonna have to do a little cleanup action. So I will need someone who voted yes to make a motion to reconsider the vote. Then we'll have to have a vote on that. We'll have to go then close the public hearing with a vote, then re-vote on the item.
You have to
I
write this
apologize.
down.
We're gonna do a lot of work because of one mistake.
Someone that voted yes,
Someone who voted yes for the item,
bikes ordinance.
correct, has to then reconsider the vote. Ask for
So
us
you're
to
making a
reconsider the
motion to
vote.
reconsider.
So I would
Correct.
like to make a motion.
motion.
Reconsider the
Right.
vote.
We need
on
a
the
second,
e-bike.
we vote.
Second.
He
Okay,
seconds.
we vote.
All in favor, say aye.
Aye.
All opposed, say nay. Motion
Nay for
carried.
reasons stated earlier.
Well, now we'll need a motion to close the public hearing.
Motion to close the public hearing.
Second. Oh,
Okay,
sorry.
vote.
All in favor, say aye. Aye. All opposed, say nay.
And now we need to re-vote on the topic.
The e-bike?
Yep.
Okay.
I thought we just did.
All,
No, you reconsidered the vote. So
Oh,
all you're
okay.
doing is we're just reconsidering it.
Okay.
voting to
now you
recon-
call the
So
vote.
Joe, now
We're
you
voting
do
to
it.
affirm what we've already done.
so I
if
make a
I've got this
motion
straight.
to approve the e-bike ordinance.
Second.
All in favor, say aye.
Aye.
All opposed, say nay.
Nay for reasons stated earlier.
Okay, one nay, motion carried.
Sorry about that. Hopefully that doesn't ever happen again.
It was
Kind
good
of-
practice for us.
Kind of funny.
Just learned something new,
I
so it's
couldn't
all
tell the
good.
players out a scorecard on that one, so.
Yeah.
Brian, no, thank you, I'm sure our. it's
Well,
not-
that covers us legally that we did the
it's
exact
not your
process
fault.
the right way.
Thank you, Brian.
My fault.
It's not your fault, Brian.
Thank you.
I got caught up in public comment earlier.
Okay, and now if I can see where we're at, okay, Kevin, you are set, Jameson is excused. Margaret, why don't you start with the reports?
So I'm going to start with communications. We distributed the June newsletter last week. I was given some very positive feedback when I attended a Rotary meeting about the newsletter, so I really appreciate hearing that. We'll continue to create content for the newsletter for as long as residents continue to read it and appreciate it. I will mention that I do think that we have some departments that, specifically our monetized departments, that could perhaps leverage this newsletter a bit better for residents than they already do. I know I've asked, for example, in our survey, there were several people, not just one, several, asked for like a one-page document of rec events or events in general. I think it would be really helpful if we could give that rather than just put in a bunch of random flyers that require people to scroll. This way they could have the events all on one page. They could print that off and they can put it on their refrigerator or whatever they do. But that's just a recommendation. I think we just listened about DPS. I've offered the same thing to that group. I think it would be really good to have some information put into there about, you know, just the rate increase, how that happened. Not everybody always looks at, you know, the township board packet. And I'm not saying everybody looks at the newsletter either, but I just think that we could give this a, you know, a little more of an effort in some areas where we have this good information and we could cascade it a little bit better than we do. So the police department, I just want to mention that the public safety building has begun the new generator install process. The old generator has been removed and the temporary generator is installed until the next phase with the new generator to be installed. So to me, that's just another example of your public safety commissions are working for the safety of our community and its residents. The people on these commissions give their time to ensure the safety of Groseal is consistent and well maintained, and I just want to point that out because I know that they give a lot of their time, their personal time. One more thing I want to point out with regard to the police, I recently attended the last 2 DDA meetings to request that dedicated police millage funds no longer be captured through the DDA's tax increment financing process. My concern is pretty simple. The police department needs to retain the funding that residents approve in order to maintain the level of public safety services our community expects and deserves. Given the financial challenges facing the department, I believe it's very important that these dedicated funds remain available for their voted intended purpose. I do want to point out, I confirmed that many surrounding communities either do not capture the public safety millage funds, or what they do in certain cases is they just refund them back to the city or the township they're from. I believe this is something that I'm asking the DDA Commission to strongly consider as a requirement because public safety is imperative. I do think it's important that we prioritize those things. Finally, I do want to point out, because there has been considerable talk, and I know everybody there's both ends of the spectrum with respect to our speed bumps. I did make an inquiry with the county. I know I then went, and Derek also, you know, tried to get some information as well. They provided their point of view back to Derek specifically, and they gave some detail, and I think there are still a lot of questions, and I do think our residents truly do deserve some form of formal clarification on the speed bumps. But in addition to that, I do understand their budget constraints and the seriousness of preserving our bridge and the seriousness of those constraints on other bridges that have not also been addressed similarly to our bridge in the past. So I believe we do need to have more details on preservation and replacement, and I think it's critical to this community that we start to work on that a little bit more if possible. And I'm personally not comfortable and just hoping that the county will not forget about Groseal in general, even though I do know Supervisor Porcerelli and our township manager, Derek Thiel, have done an incredible job bridging a lot of the gaps with the county. I don't want any residents to think no one is doing something, because I know both of them are, and I know I'm paying attention to, and I just wanted to put that out there. And that's it.
Thank you. William?
Thank you, Joe. I'm on 2 commissions, the Airport Commerce Park and the planning. I've been driving by that athletic club we're putting together, and it's looking gorgeous. They painted it in nothing flat, and it looks good. They've moved the equipment in, and it's in place and installed. And there's just a lot of enthusiasm in this building, in my heart and mind, about what we have as a facility that has been graciously provided, so to speak. And I look forward to seeing what the end result will be. I know there's some people who are, they're senior citizens who developed friendships that were very supportive, and it was meaningful for them. And so I know that there are some people here who will be meaningfully well served by membership there. The Planning Commission will be meeting next week. We've got about 5 ordinances they need to look at that need modifications, and will be in discussion, and that will be the agenda for that meeting. That concludes my report.
Okay, Mark.
So we have nothing scheduled for the zoning board this particular month as of now, as of this particular meeting. Something may come up, we never know. But at this point, we have nothing scheduled. And as always, at every meeting, I always suggest that people who are interested in any of our commissions to please apply and be specific about the commission you want. I know we have, I think, 5 openings on the communications. We have 5 openings on the elections board, compensation, I think is what it's called, right? Yeah, so, and there's other commissions too that have some vacancies, so please get involved. Help move this township along, help get on these commissions and help us move forward. I've got nothing else at this point.
Thank you.
For the fire commission, they'll be doing 2 days of elevator training this month. Chief is going to do the first in-person inspection of the new aerial truck this week, so that's exciting. Thank you to the board for approving the new diesel exhaust removal system. It will be a priority and can get installed as soon as in a couple of weeks. The next fire commission meeting is June 25th. For open space, again, thank you to the board for passing the e-bike ordinance, including with respect to the open space trails. During our commission meeting, we thanked Mandy Phillips for her service to our community as a founding member of GINLC and liaison to the Open Space Committee. She's leaving us, she's moving, and I'm really going to miss her. Her replacement is Catherine Christensen, and she'll join us in the next meeting. We approved the Eagle Scout Trail project of Joshua Burwald in the Groseal Woods, bordered by the Bird Sanctuary, Horse Mill Road, and Meridian Road. It'll be a beautiful trail, and he really did a great job to avoid the need to remove any trees. So it'll be a great trail. The fall Dump the Junk, Find a Treasure will be on October 3rd. There is no Greenways Open Space meeting in July. We'll probably have a meeting in August to consider a very small millage. The 2 large trees on the Parkway Trail have been removed. And finally, for Groseal Nature and Land Conservancy, June 9th, there will be a 2026 Native Tree Walk with Doug Thiel from 6 to 7:30 p.m. at the Dr. Bruce Jones Preserve, corner of Bridge and Meridian. There's a volunteer opportunity, and I just moved my screen. June 13th at Sunrise Park cleanup from 9 to noon at Sunrise Park, of course, hosted by the GINLC and the Recreation Department. June 16th, Nature on Your Doorstep, exploring Groseal's conserved lands from 6 to 7 p.m. And that's at the Memorial Library. And that's going to be with Paul Glore and with Bill Stevenson. And they will guide you through all our remarkable natural areas. Saturday, June 20th is Wildflowers from 1 to 2:30 at Meridian Woods, Meridian Road between Manchester and Rucker, and that should be really nice. And that's it.
All right, thank you. Derek.
Quickly, a few items. The bridge meeting, which was scheduled for next Wednesday, has been moved to the 29th, which is a Monday. So any of those that are interested in attending or viewing from home, just mark your calendar. DPS meeting is tomorrow at 7 o'clock in this room. DPS department has been working through a contractor to do quite a bit of concrete work. Contractors for the township are working up in the middle of the island off a ferry, and will be transitioning over to Park Lane by the elementary school starting on Thursday when school gets out. And from there, they'll move down to Gray's Drive and be working down there once again after school gets out. The section of Keith Road that is currently paved will be repaved potentially on Friday. So that will be the next asphalt work that will be done in the township. And BPAC, through their contract with Al's Asphalt, The project out here on Grow Road and going up South Point, that repaving is probably about half complete. They actually removed and replaced today a large portion of that path area. There is going to be a special meeting on the 24th of June with the board, which I believe is on a Wednesday. And the purpose of that is to review the compensation study. Our consultant, Raymond Group, will be in to make a presentation to the board and go over the draft report and explain their findings and the information that they've generated for you. So make sure you have that on your calendar. And then at the July 13th meeting of the Groseal Township Board, the engineers, H&H for the Groseal Toll Bridge, will be making a presentation to the board and the community about the project that we will be bidding at the end of this month, which is the major rehabilitation of the Groseal Toll Bridge. The purpose of that meeting is just to explain the scope of work, the reasons behind it, what they found, what they've designed, and then offer opportunities for the board to ask any questions of our engineers. They've been working with the Bridge Commission quite heavily over the past, I'd say probably 4 to 6 months to develop those plans. So we want to present those to the community and also to the board to make sure that everybody's well aware of what's going to be going on up there. With that, that concludes my report. Yes, ma'am.
Thank
I
you.
didn't catch your pick up the date at the H&H meeting.
It will be at our regular meeting of June 13th.
Okay.
I'm sorry, July 13th.
July.
July 13th, which is our first meeting of the month of
In
July.
July.
Yep.
Thank you.
Thank you, Derek. You
Yep.
covered a couple of things. I do have one last thing for my report. We just got notified from the county tonight that Wednesday, June 24th, and Thursday, June 25th. Is that a Wednesday and Thursday?
Wednesday and Thursday, yes.
They will have a scheduled inspection. Nothing is wrong with the bridge. This is what they normally do. It'll take place from 8:30 a.m. to 3:30 p.m. So if you want to change your schedule for going to work, for getting off the island, it's 8:30. They try to do it not during rush hour and try to get it done before rush hour in the afternoon starts. So once again, that's June 24th and June 25th, 8:30 to 3:30 p.m. And they said they would hope to get that done at least at 3:30, a little bit sooner if possible. So if you have to change your times accordingly, that will be it for the 2 days. That's all I have. Derek, you hit some of the other issues. I just want to say one thing. What we noticed also is the weather's a lot nicer, obviously, and people are out there, and there's more forget the e-bikes, they're out there, but the bicyclists, when I said forget the e-bikes, I don't mean that we shouldn't be cognizant of them and be safe, but I'm just saying there's a lot more regular bicyclists and runners out there with the nice weather. Just be safe driving, watch them, and once again, the e-bikes are out there, the scooters are out there. This is quite a concern, so thank you very much, and
Supervisor?
yes, sir.
Could we take just a couple seconds to explain to the community why there are speed bumps before you get on the bridge? Because, have we discussed that at the meeting today?
If
No, it's
if
not
you-
in the agenda.
It was brought up in the meeting, and I just thought if it took a minute, please don't interrupt me.
Well, it
Hold
was
on,
not
hold-
in my report,
Oh, we had such a
and
nice
it's not on the
meeting.
agenda, so it's not something we are allowed to discuss.
Hold on. Oh, I'm sorry, I didn't hear you say something.
I mean, you guys can discuss anything you want, so there's no.
Thank you.
Did you,
Just a quick explanation of why those bumps are there, or those speed bumps are.
do you want me to do it, do you want to do it?
It's up to you.
Well, I'll just explain real quick, if that's all right?
Thank you, that would be great.
Okay, give a quick explanation. The county, what they're trying to do is longevity for the county bridge. One of the main issues for the bridge that causes problems is the directional pressure that's put on by vehicles going over that bridge, especially the trucks. And you have two different kinds of pressure, obviously, on the bridge, and one's horizontal, one's vertical, but some go right to the piers. And what happened is they're trying to come up with a way to slow the traffic down. That's why if you notice there's two sets or one set of bumps, two speed humps, to get you to slow down on the second one, so the heavier trucks don't bounce when they get over the first hump of that bridge. If you notice, when you get onto the bridge, it is kind of lifted up a little bit. So that causes such pressure coming down on the bridge, and weight is, it exponentially increases with truck traffic. So the bottom line is they're trying to preserve the longevity of that bridge by keeping the weight from the heavy trucks. It doesn't really change a whole lot in cars, although it will, some of the heavier vehicles, but this is mainly for the trucks. And the reason why there's two, again, is the first one slows you down, and then the second one, obviously you have to slow down for the second one before you get onto the bridge, so that first hump to get onto the bridge doesn't start that pressure on the grading, and it actually goes all the way down through the piers. So the bottom line is they're trying to keep it so they don't have any type of not failure as in catastrophic failure, but part failure and structural failure where they have to just repair something. So that's basically what they're trying to do.
Mr. Supervisor, I might add also that, to your point, they're trying to preserve the bridge because they know that we have a project upcoming with our bridge that will likely take it out of service. So the goal is to try to reduce the wear and tear on theirs, to put any significant repairs to theirs beyond when ours reopens. Because obviously the worst case scenario is having a situation where both bridges are down at the same time, and then obviously that's a major inconvenience and a safety issue, right? So that I would just add.
And thank you, Derek, it's a good point. They've agreed with us, Kevin. They agreed they will not start work on their bridge till ours is completely done and we're open. So once again, what Derek is explaining, and that I was remiss by saying, so thank you for that follow-up.
Unless it's an emergency, which they're trying to avoid that by having those
But if
speed
they can
bumps
keep their
on it.
bridge in good shape until we're done, that's what they're trying to maintain. So does that help?
That's fantastic. Thank you for that
to
information,
just
Derek
serve-
and Supervisor Porcelli.
What, Bill?
Another thing that might be a surprise, to sum it up and phrase it another way, it provides convenience and economies to everybody. If they can stretch the useful life of the bridge and avoid an extra repair cycle, that's good for the bridge. But if you think of it, if you get that working that way, the people who use the county bridge don't have to be detoured and incur costs that otherwise might not have been there. And they save time and money too. So what's being done is an attempt to bring everybody a convenience and an economy.
Thank you, Bill.
Yeah. It does cost when that bridge is down.
Time
It
and
costs
money.
all of us.
Right.
So, all right, thank you.
Thank you.
Anybody, I can't see if everybody. Oh, did you want, you good? Okay, thanks. No, I just want to make sure she didn't want to come up. All right, I'll need a, motion to adjourn.
Motion to adjourn.
Second.
All in favor, say aye.
Aye.
All opposed, say nay. Motion carried.